I am Rob Cox, the global editor of Breakingviews, the commentary arm of Reuters News, and I'm excited to tell you about the book of predictions and prescriptions that my team across the world has assembled for 2022. This year's theme is a world and transition. The dictionary defines transition as change from one state of being or condition to another. That pretty much sums up where we are as the new year arrives. Whether it's the move away from an economic system reliant upon hydrocarbons, vanquishing the COVID-19 pandemic, or central banks ending the free money era, extraordinary shifts are taking place across the planet that will shape markets, corporate finance, politics, economies well into 2022 and beyond. We've broken these down into 6 categories in the book. The first is the ecological transition. The efforts by governments and companies to reduce carbon emissions and reach net zero by 2050 or sooner will basically continue to dominate the financial and business landscape in 2022. Switching away from coal, gas, and oil is a priority, but every sector, including heavy industries like steel and cement, transport, agriculture, banking, will need soon to make huge commitments to meet the lofty ambitions of the next generation. A subcategory of this is the phasing out of the internal combustion engine by 2030 in many parts of the developed world. The decisions and investments needed to make this switch are happening right now. The digital transition is another big theme. A third year of the pandemic, with the persistent threat of new, more virulent strains, continues to dramatically accelerate the shift to digital everything. The winners and losers of this transition will become more evident in 2022. And by the way, we think Microsoft itself will be the big winner. Money is undergoing a massive transition in 2022 as well. Inflation is less quiescent than in the past couple of decades. Central banks will have to start pulling away the punch bowl or ending the party or whatever it is, and it has huge implications for the cost of capital. Mainly, it goes up. And money itself, by the way, will go through a huge transformation this year as monetary authorities try to keep up with the emerging dynamics of crypto and digital currencies. The world of work is another one. And even as people trickle back to offices, post-pandemic dynamics in communications, training, travel, social interaction are permanently reshaping the way we work, productivity, and this has huge implications for labor, property, urban planning, and beyond. It also poses new challenges for leaders, none of whom were trained at Harvard or INSEAD to run sprawling organizations of employees working individually from their kitchens, right? That's why we're predicting higher than ever turnover of CEOs themselves. The increasingly chilly war between the United States and China will continue to dominate international trade and geopolitics, with Xi Jinping set for another term as China's president, and U.S. President Joe Biden has a chance to reach détente of some sort to cooperate on climate change, the pandemic, and other priorities. But with Biden's own party facing a trouncing in November congressional elections, his hands may be tied. On the plus side, European leadership will have a chance to shine as French President Emmanuel Macron probably wins a second term in May. Germany welcomes a new chancellor after 16 years with Angela Merkel at the helm, and Italy chooses its new president. Success will require extraordinary social inclusion. Governments, companies, taxpayers, especially the richest, will have to proactively prepare for the sacrifices that are needed to prevent the earth from scorching while delivering greater equity and financial inclusion and social justice. Failure to do so will lead to widespread civil unrest or worse. In addition to being terrible for business, that would torpedo many more existential goals like limiting global warming, whose deleterious effects will disproportionately affect the world's poorest. And with that, we hope for a better 2022.
As you heard from Rob, next year is going to see many of the themes from 2021 continue through 2022. But I think the big ones for me are things like the geopolitics, China and the US. I've talked a lot about China and the US, their importance on the economy. Geopolitics is going to impact that. And clearly COVID is unfortunately going to be with us into next year and beyond, and that's going to have a major determinant or be a major determinant for a great many things. But I hope that 2022 will be a great investing year for everybody.